Hello again, it's Noob, and we have an extremely rare beast for you here today. Why is it rare? Well, it's rare because a lock company actually sent me some locks. So yeah, full disclosure, Prolox sent me their evolved by Prolox lock, 10-year guarantee, sold secure, British Standards Institute, 1 star for this one. There are some 3-star cylinders I have as well, so we'll get onto those on another video, I hope. But yeah, Prolox, who have sent me some stuff before, sent me some more stuff. Now, I think that is incredibly brave, like really brave, of a lock company to do that. They didn't give me any money, nothing like that, no money's exchanged hands. I didn't promise to make a video. I said, basically, if I can pick it, I'll make a video. And they were totally happy with that, which I think is really brilliant. So big shout out to Prolox for that. Now, this is an interesting lock because it is very similar to other locks you might have seen before, with a magnetic pin-in-pin element. Yeah, sort of like a pin-in-pin element. It's more like a magnetic element there. Some back warding here, and a set of passive pins at the bottom, which if you had the wrong key blank, then it wouldn't work. So it's part of a key control system. It works as you'd expect. There you go, pop the key in. Failed at the first thing. Yes, it's very smooth operating. It's very easy to use. I'm just very clumsy. And yeah, this is really, really nice. We have some sort of anti-drill, anti-pull bars in there. We've got magnetic elements. We've got passive key control pins. We've got 5 pins and a magnetic element. Yeah, very, very cool indeed. So I think the only difference between this and the 3-star is that the 3-star is the Euro cylinder, so obviously it has some anti-snap features, and it has trap pins in as well. So we'll get onto that in another video. But yeah, isn't that amazing that a lock company would send me a lock knowing that I'll probably pick it? Now you might think, why would they do that? Well, lock companies aren't stupid. They know that a hobbyist in a warm bedroom somewhere who's practiced on the lock will be able to probably pick the lock open. I can tell you straight out the gate that this is not an easy lock to pick, and you do need to know what you're doing and have the right equipment and the right profile picks and all those kind of things. So if you didn't know what you were coming up against, this would be an exceedingly hard pick, if not virtually impossible to come up to cold, unless you were extraordinarily skilled and had a lot of equipment on you at the time. Now, how do I go about picking a lock like this one with a magnetic element? So I've used 2, sorry about the fingers there, that's through practice. That's actually just metal rubbing against my fingers. 2 3x1mm neodymium magnets, and this will hopefully pull down the sort of magnetic pin in there. It's not magnetic, it's actually just a steel pin which is pulled down by magnets in the key, but you get the idea. And that I can slide in to the what is basically a gap in the pins. It's in pin position 3. So that's one thing I can use. Now I've got a nice thick turning tool here, and I found that that is exactly the right width. So again, I've found something which is exactly the right width. I've also chosen a flag which is exactly the right height, and it's curved because some of these pins you have to lift really high. And the other thing is I've basically just gone into the lock, I felt for a pin, and I've made a little pen mark. So I've well prepped this pick as well, because why not? This is a really good tip if you're picking a dimple lock and you can feel your way along and you can feel the pins. Just mark the pin positions. It really, really helps. Just quickly find which pin you are on and where you want to go next. It's a really good tip. You just need a marker like this, and you can just go along and mark your pin positions as you feel them in the lock. They don't have to be majorly accurate. It doesn't have to be exactly centered to the pin. It just has to be an indication of where you are. You don't need it, but it just helps, and it's a little tip for you. So what do we have? We've got exactly the right flag for the job, exactly the right turning tool for the job, and exactly the right diameter magnets. So you can see already how even if I pick this, you need to be well knowledgeable about this lock. So I think kudos to Prolox for making a lock which is a little bit more complicated than your standard lock. Anyway, without further ado, let me grab a vise and we'll see if we can't pick this. So we are in the vise and here is that key. So we have a very, very deep cut, very long key pin here. In pin position 1, a sort of medium sized key pin in pin position 2, magnet, medium high, and then 2 very high cuts, which are very short key pins next to that back warding, which makes it a little bit trickier to use. So gonna not put a magnet in to begin with, put our tension in, grab our pick. We're just going to see if we can't pick the pins in this first. Nothing on 1. Little click on 2. Nothing on 3, of course. Nothing on. Oh, get out of there. 4. This is pin 5 now, and 6. Nothing on those. So go back, and it's the front pin, the first pin here. Little click. 2 is fine. Under whatever pin that was, what would it be? Get out. Pin 4. This is 5 now. Nothing on 5, so check 1, 2, 3, nothing, 4. Oh, I just dropped something down. I don't know what that was. Oh yeah, it would have been probably pin. Oh yeah, pin 5 is binding now. Wow, that was a positive click, wasn't it? And then we got 6 there. Let's check 1, 2, nothing on 3, 4, 5. I think 6 gives a. Does 6 gives a little click? There, a little click. Now we're not open because we should be resting on that magnetic pin. What do we do about it? Well, we just apply a little bit of tension, like get another tension tool in. Just need to just hold it like this, like that, and then we'll try and grab our little magnetic pins like this, little magnets, slide it along and get it into position, and then we should, if it's right, just be able to bounce that tension a bit, and we have the open. There we go. Now what I want to avoid here is, because the pins are offset, but the keyway is very, very wide here. So if you are going to turn this, you want to get in a turner in and hold it very high up in the lock so that the driver pins don't drop down into the keyway, and you can keep turning it. Because if you don't, then they will drop into the keyway and it'll all be very bad. So yeah, at the moment I've sort of I've got a position where I didn't want to avoid that. I will play around with this in a second, but yeah, the driver pins will drop down into the keyway if you're not careful. So yeah, what do I do about that? There we go. Got it back. There you go. You just got to be really careful when you do this, because those driver pins will drop down into the top. You do need something which can go in all the way to the back and push up on all of the driver pins. You probably do it with, like I just did there, the back of a hook like this, but you've got to be really careful. Use a plug spinner. Just be super careful as you do it, because those driver pins, like I said, will drop down into the keyway really bad. So I'm not going to pick it any more than that. You could use a plug spinner to turn around any further. It's very smooth to kind of skip it past those, or like I said, use something wide and long enough to go all the way to the back and stop those driver pins from falling into the keyway. That's all fine. But we have the open, so let's now gut it. And to do that, I'm just going to lock it back up because it's a lot safer to gut these with a key. So I'll do that, lock it back up, and What do I need? What do I need? What do I need? Oh yeah, I need a gutting tool to take off this E-clip. So just push that off. I hope it doesn't ping everywhere, which it didn't. I've got some magnets, so let's get out of the way. We will have magnets still on the inside of this, so we do need to sort of retrieve those magnets if I can. It's a little bit tricky to do from experience, because we can't get the key in to gut it if we have the magnets in there. Got them. Ooh, look at that. Let's put them over here. So yeah, easier, so you don't have the magnets sticking to everything, to put the magnets in after you picked it. What do I need now? I need a follower, which I do have. I just put it somewhere. Here we go. And a shim and the key. There we go. And I'll try and find the best position for this. So about there, I think. We'll get the shim in because there's so many little holes and wide things at the back of this lock. Yeah, you can imagine how many of those little pins will get trapped in there if you're not careful. Then I should be able to follow this out, being careful that the passive pins and the key pins will be either side of this. So these are all the same, these passive pins, so I'll dump those out first. They correspond to cuts in the key and recess into them, because there's almost like a sidebar groove on the inside of the lock, which you might be able to see if I push that back just there. So that's where the little tips of these passive pins sit. They'll sit in there and they will move back up into the keyway if you've got a key with cuts in the right place, or no key at all if you pick the lock. Okay, so yes, we'll try and gut this nicely. Luckily there isn't 2 rows of active pins with springs, because that's a pain. So drive pin number 1 is steel, anti-drill, I imagine. It is magnetic. Pin 2 is a lovely little spool pin, but it acts like a serrated pin because it's so small. It goes like that, like a little serration. What's this one? Another, yep, standard pin. These springs do pop up into the keyway, so you've got to be a bit careful. There we go. This is a standard pin, another steel one, I think. Is that spring coming out? I'm going to force it if it's not. And then, oh, another little standard pin, I think. Oh, and there's another pin at the back there, of course. There we go. Ah, there you go. A nice little spool, bit bigger, but again, it acts like a serrated pin. So we've got our passive pins, we've got our little drive pins. This one is actually, can you see that? It's hollow, because that will take the little sprung. Can I get that pin out? I'll leave it in there. Take the sprung little pin there. I shall move the key out and it should spring out if I'm not careful. And you see how without the key this sticks up, and that would go into this cutout in the key and stop it from turning, and it needs to be retracted down using a magnet. And here's a magnet on the key, so you'll see as it goes in, it'll just pull that pin down, see, like that, as it goes in. Where no magnet, and then when it's aligned properly, there you go, it snaps back down. Very cool. Right, let's have a look at those. You've got some anti-drill bars here. I'm just going to take out the little pin because it is sprung and it's really easy to lose. So I'll just pop that there next to its driver pin. And then we will put our key pins in here. So long, very long key pin, very long key pin. See how new this is because of how these pins still have the colours on them from the pinning kits for ease of identification. So here we go. This is what is inside one of these new Prolox Evolved. Very cool indeed. Like I said, this isn't an advert, but I will leave a link to the Prolox website for your information. They have lots of other information on there. You can see other locks they have. I think that's only a polite thing to do. Yeah, and you can see that we have all standard key pins. Yep, all standard key pins. Some are steel and magnetic, some are brass. Then we have, in the same positions, steel driver pins next to the steel key pins. And then we have spool pins and standard pins in brass as well. Passive key pins here. Some springs, they all seem to be steel as well. And yeah, that's the Prolox Evolved picked. I really enjoyed doing that. I hope you enjoyed watching it. If you did, leave a like. If you have any comments, especially any comments about lock manufacturers being brave enough to send a lock picker some locks, please put the comments below. It's been only, I can think, 1, 2, 3, 3 or 4 lock manufacturers who sent me some locks in the past. So very, very brave of them. So yeah, thank you again, Prolox. That is super cool of you. I hope I did your lock proud. I think it's pretty good. Anyway, if you have comments, leave them below. I do read them all, reply to them as I can. If you like this video or want to see more videos like it, hit that like, hit the subscribe, hit the notifications. All really helps my channel out. And otherwise, stay safe, happy picking, and I'll see you all next time.